Hi, Sandra Wilson here, clinical hypnotherapist, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how having rejection sensitivity can really make us make assumptions before we've even dipped our toe in the pond or taken that little risk. And it's really common. So for example, you might be very nervous about applying for a new job, but you hear that little voice in your head saying, there's no point because they're not going to pick me. I haven't got the sufficient qualifications or the experience, or I'm less than all the other applicants, so there's just no point. I'm not going to get the job. And whilst on one hand, it's common sense to assess whether you do meet the essential criteria for the post you're applying for. There's no point applying for a role where you haven't got a necessary qualification. But if you meet the essential criteria and even some of the desired criteria, you have just as much chance as anyone else. And maybe you are thinking about getting back on the dating scene again, but you have an assumption that, say for example, if you have, I don't know, a disability like autism, you might say to yourself, well, nobody wants to date somebody with autism. There's no point me getting out there asking people on a date because they'll just be very ableist and just focus on my disability. So again, yes, maybe there are some people out there that would do that. And would you want to be dating a person that was that shallow anyway? Always remember there is somebody out there for you. Okay, so you just need to focus on the positives, focus on the fact that there will be somebody who will love you for who you are. And again, in different settings, we tend to make assumptions that we are going to be rejected when perhaps there is no evidence that it's going to happen, and the only evidence you might have had, perhaps looking at when you were rejected or turned down in the past. But the past has happened. Just because you may have been rejected once or even twice or even more times, just because you didn't get offered a job one time or maybe more than once, doesn't mean that it's going to happen again. That's just a bit of an error of thinking. If you continue to think that the past will always replicate and you will always be rejected, and it just means that you're an awful person, that you can't find love or you can't progress in your career or find something new, you're being trapped by your thinking. And maybe it's time to start thinking in a different way. So if that resonates, drop me a message and let's get this ball rolling. If you can change your thoughts, you can change your life.